What's going on, everybody? This is Marcus from Black Married Debt Free, and I'm here with my lovely wife,
Shira.
And we have two very special guests in the building, a treat.
Yes.
We have Leo and Faith on the podcast, and they have been featured in quite a few things. They were featured on Yahoo Finance, also on the Steve Harvey Show.
Ooh.
They are creators of the Debt Slayers Bootcamp, author of Got Debt. I like that. And this is the big thing. They recently made their last payment. They paid off $224,000 in debt in just 2.5 years.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So pretty much we got another Black Married and Debt Free couple on.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So we are super hyped to have you two on. Welcome to the show. How are you doing?
Hey, how are you guys?
We're good. We're good.
Yeah, so excited to be here.
Absolutely. I follow Leo on IG, and I always love your, the content that you post. And what I really liked is how transparent you were with your journey.
Yes.
You guys let us in on the process. So I feel like, I was a part of it. So can you do us a favor and kind of take us to the genesis of, tell us a little bit about yourself and maybe even how you two met.
Awesome. Well, I'm Leo and
I'm Faith.
And we are 29 and 31. So we became debt-free at 29 and 31. But I'll take you back to the very beginning. I moved from Boston, Massachusetts to Atlanta for a job right after college or right after grad school. And Faith, she moved from
Chicago in 2014 to go to Emory, which is in Atlanta, for nursing school.
So a friend of mine invited me to a youth meeting at his church. And after work, I was like, okay, let me hit up my friend to see if he's still on the go. And he said, oh man, I can't make it. And so I was like, oh, well, I'm not going to go if you're not going to go. So I went and I took a nap after work. And then the Holy Spirit was like, man, you're not going for this friend. You're going for me. So get your butt up and go. And lo and behold, it was small group night that night. We happened to live in the same city and I met Faith.
Yes.
So that's how it all started. So we've been rocking together since 2014.
Wow.
We got married
In June of 2017.
Yes.
And we recently just had our first baby, who's 8 months old.
Yes, and his name is Legacy.
Yeah.
But our journey to debt freedom started even before we got married, because we started having conversations with each other about finance. For example, Faith did not know how much debt she had. So she was here going to nursing school, and the reason it came up was like she would offer to, buy meals for me, like when we were out, like at some on some occasions. I was like, well, where are you getting this money from? And I was like, sit down and write down how much debt you have. So we created an Excel sheet and listed all of her debt, and at the time I think it was $144,000, and she had no idea. So
I mean, I didn't have any idea. So the conversation basically started because, I was just swiping my card, and I didn't have a job because I was in school.
Right.
And then once we sat down, realized that I had $140-something thousand of debt. We then realized that I overtook debt just so I can get that refund check. And that's what I was swiping with that refund.
Yeah. So she actually had $8,000 sitting in her bank account, just using for fun money. This is money that she borrowed from Sally Mae, and I asked her to give it back.
Wow.
She was like, whoa.
Give it back.
She was like, yeah. So that conversation was real interesting, but that started our journey, just having those conversations before we even got married. Lay it out on the table, what are you bringing into this relationship so we can talk about it. So.
And it sounds like, a few things I got from that. One, it was divine how you all met.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and then I think it's just amazing that this is something you all talked about before even, you guys got serious with each other. So Leo, how did what made you, even think to ask those questions or inquire? What happened in your background that kind of had you more focused on the financial literacy, piece?
So I had already started working. So I was in my career about a couple years in. and I had started making payments on my student loans.
Okay.
So I had some awareness of where I was in the journey. I was like, okay, ideally, I would not like to marry somebody who had a lot of debt. So let me bring this to the table to see where she's at.
Right.
Then when I saw that 144, I was like, yeah. But yeah, so I was already aware. So
Okay.
I brought that to her attention so she could be aware as well. And so we can start planting those seeds as far as like, what are we going to do about this if we were to get married? So that's where I was. For her, it was a little bit, far gone because she had not graduated yet. She had not started to enjoy life yet. So it's a little different for her. But for me, I was aware. So I brought it up. So funny story too, is that one of our dates before we got married was me helping her with an essay for school. So this is the importance of bringing up these kind of conversations ahead of time, because a lot of people don't talk about finance until they get married, and then they have a whole bunch of issues come up because they had not ironed out everything beforehand. But yeah, we had a date where she had an essay for her master's program. And I remember it, like, what was the title of your essay?
I have no idea.
It was like,
I don't even know.
it was like the borrowers, or
borrowers.
not
lender.
that. It was like the harvest is plentiful, but the laborers are few, right?
Okay.
She was writing an essay to Emory about like why she wants to get into her specific field, and I was sitting here helping her with her essay. But long story short, that essay ended up saving us $80,000 of debt because she got a scholarship from that essay that paid off her entire master's program. So her $144,000 could have been $200 plus by herself.
Yeah.
Had we not started to engage in those conversations. So
that's amazing.
So it is amazing. And so one of the things, maybe if you can speak to this a little bit, is how do you approach debt when both of you are coming into the marriage with it? I know sometimes people will say, well, that's his debt and this is her debt. But when you are coming together, you're married, like how did you all approach paying off debt as a couple?
Yeah. I think so. We first started by sitting down for premarital counseling with our pastor. And the first question that he had asked us is, what is the vision of your marriage? Like, what do y'all want to accomplish together? So we went back and we thought about that, and we thought about all of the things that we wanted to do, and realized that, man, we have way too much debt. Way too much money is going towards these payments. There's no way we're going to be able to accomplish like the things that we want to do with this debt. So let's start together and let's come up with a plan to pay off our debt. Then when we got married, we realized, okay, now we're one. Our finances are combined. Everything is one. Your debt is my debt. My debt is your debt. And that was just kind of the mindset that we had as we took on paying it all off.
We united in all aspects. So mind, body, and soul, and debt. So it wasn't her debt and my debt. It was our debt. So it's something that we have to get used to. Is like not Faith student loans, but the student loans under Faith's name, not Leo's student loans, but the loans under Leo's name. So it was something that we had to work on.
It's hard. It was hard because there was a lot of times when we first started, we were focusing on the loans that were on his name. And, we were both doing a lot of working, and I'm like, man, I'm working, and like, they're still going to his loans. Like, that whole mindset shift is really hard to do.
Yeah, but I think if you go into the marriage thinking that knowing that you are one, and that, hey, if I put everything that I have towards our goals and we come up with this plan together, then that's just going to benefit both of us at the end of the day. But I can see how it would be hard for some people to get on the same page with that.
Right.
But I say, this is what I say, you can go further, faster by working together. And that's what we
Absolutely. Totally agree with that. And as Shira was kind of asking that question, it's funny because we do get that a lot. It's like when we're talking with someone, they just in their conversation, it's so divided as to, he required this and my debt is that. But it's like we try to share with them that, hey, it's gonna work better, like how you said, Leo, when you guys say, hey, this is both of ours and we're going to attack it together, you know?
Right.
So I think that's really dope. And we want to get into the strategy because I think it's just amazing how much you all were able to pay off.
Yes, a massive amount.
Yeah. But before we go there, let me ask a little bit more about the mindset. So looking back at how much you all paid off, did you ever, or do you now ever think like, man, do you ever wrestle with, should I have used that money to do something else? Like, how do you feel when you look back at that sum of money? You're like, that's quite a bit of money. Do you ever think like,
that's a luxury car?
Yeah.
That's a luxury vacation.
Yeah. How did you fight those urges? Yeah, I guess is the question.
You even have
yeah, to spend the money elsewhere.
So I think the thing for me that helped is like being focused on like having a goal and having like the reason why I'm doing this.
Right.
So that helped me stay focused during the time. But then now, you know, like $224,000 is a lot of money, but we started with $211,000. So in the end, we ended up paying like $12,000 in interest.
Yeah,
all right.
Right.
So if we didn't attack that debt how we did, that interest would have been way more than $12,000. We would have ended up paying way more than $200 and something thousand.
Right.
So I'm just like, all right, you know, it's worth it. We're now 29, we're 31. Like now we can live to accomplish our goals now.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and for me, I think part of what she said is true too, because like the interest rate, people don't think about the interest rate because it's something that they can't quite see in its totality, like at the moment. You know, it might be, you know, $20 here, $30 here. So they're not really paying attention to it. But when we put our numbers into the calculator, it was $125,000 of interest that we would have paid on top of our $211,000 that we started off with. And it would have taken us 15 years to pay this off. Mind you, our minimum payments were $2,000. Wow. Minimum payments, $2,000. So that was one reason, and our why was a big reason because we are all about generational wealth, and there's no way that we'd be able to do that carrying this debt, this load on our back for 15 years. There are so many things that we would have had to say no to, like during that 15-year period, that we no longer have to say no to because our cash flow is opened up. We have more options now. But I think, you know, just coming together on the same page with the same vision, establishing our why, then the how became easier. Once our why was set, our how became easier.
I love that. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome to keep the vision before you. We're not just paying off debt just to be paying it off, but there's a purpose behind it. There's meaning behind it. That's awesome. And another thing I was thinking about, because y'all are just a beautiful couple.
Yeah.
And your little one is so cute. I told Marcus, I said, he's so cute. He made me want to have another one. No, we know that's not going to happen. But but I know that I have heard folks say that because I have debt, I'm not going to get married, or I'm going to postpone things such as marriage because I have debt. But I love how you two have come together. You guys, it sounded like maybe you kept each other motivated. You strengthened each other and you were able to achieve this. And you didn't say, well, I'm not going to let this stop me from having a spouse, which I think is great.
Right.
Yeah. And so, maybe we can talk a little bit about maybe some of the strategies. Like what did you do to help expedite the process to take it from 15 years to 2.5 years?
Yeah, so I think one of the biggest things is we budgeted, and going back off of budgeting, we ended up like decreasing our expenses. So instead of like going to go get Starbucks, I make my coffee at home every single day. And yeah, it might be like $3-4, but $3 and $4 every single day like adds up.
Yes.
And we pack our lunches every single day.
Yeah, literally every day. I mean, people were making fun of Faith like at work for packing lunch.
All the time.
Even me too. Like, on Fridays, I have this like at the clinic I work at, like they're always ordering out on Fridays, and they always ask, Leo, are you ordering today? Always, no. I mean, I appreciate them for wanting to include me and stuff, but the answer is always no. I mean, can you tell them the story about your coworkers, like with your lunch?
How they know what I'm bringing every day?
Yeah.
Well, like, okay, so, you know, everyone goes out. So they're like, oh, Faye, you know, you're going to come out with us? Oh, never mind. I already know the answer is not. Let me guess, you brought your lunch, didn't you? I was like, yeah, I did. And they're like, oh, Faye, what did you bring? Oh, let me guess, a sandwich, chips, and crackers, and cookies. I'm like, yep, exactly.
It was so funny because I went, one of the other strategies that we used was like we carpool to work on the days when we work on the same side of town. But one day I was picking up Faith from work and I saw her coworker walking out with a lunchbox. And it was because Faith had started was bringing her lunch to work, and that kind of rubbed off on her coworker. So I thought that was pretty neat.
Yeah.
But we carpooled to work on the days when we worked on the same side of town. So that saved us a whole bunch of money. What else did we do?
Well, I want to go back to budgeting then, because we followed like a very, very, very strict budget. Like we got our income, we sat down, we talked about all of our expenses, and we cut back on that as much as possible. So we made sure we used the Every Dollar app, and so we made sure that every single expense went directly in the budget. We had like a miscellaneous category, and that was just like birthdays and gifts and stuff. And so whenever we were close to that, we were just like, oh, well, this person's not going to get anything for their birthday.
That's actually like
it is what it is.
That's a strategy that we use. Like we have a miscellaneous category because what happens with folks is that things come up and then they're scrambling to find the money and then they end up sacrificing in other areas. But by establishing a miscellaneous category, it was like, hey, if it's $50, we have $50 set for this month for random things that come up because they do. But once we get to that $50 limit, like they're out of luck. So I think there was like a month where there were like 4 or 5 baby showers, and we were like, we're gonna prioritize. We're gonna get these first 2 people a gift, and then the next 2 gonna have to roll over into the next month, like when our miscellaneous category like resets again. Those are like little strategies that we use.
But yeah, so after, go ahead.
I was just gonna say is that we cut back as much as we could. Like we had just gotten married when we started our debt-free journey. So we were still trying to figure out like, how much do we spend on groceries? How much do we spend on gas? And I remember going to Faith, was like, can we keep decreasing the grocery budget? And at one point Faith was like, no, we cannot decrease it anymore. But yeah, we decreased it as much as we could, but then we found out that you could only cut back so much. Then we turned our attention to, increasing our income. Like we cut cable. We did a whole bunch of stuff. We cut cable. We didn't eat out a lot. Anything else?
No, but that's it with that part.
Yeah.
And then after we cut back as much as we could, we focused on increasing our income. So I had my primary job. Leo had his primary job. And, that was fine, but we needed side hustles. So we found side hustles between the 2 of us throughout this process. We worked 5 jobs between the 2 of us.
And started a business on the side.
Wow. And so we knew that, once we have this extra income has to benefit us in some way. So this isn't going to be something that we're going to spend. So we're going to get the income. We're going to tithe off of it because we definitely believe in tithing. From that, all of the money from our side hustles went directly towards debt.
Wow. Like all of it. Like that was like a conversation that we had ahead of time. But like you can imagine how hard that is to work as hard as we were working. Like Faith was working, I think, like 90 hours in a week. Like 90 hours in a week, and to not be able to touch any of that income, or to decide not to touch any of that income, still live on a strict budget. And put all of it towards debt. That was hard for us. Like it was really, really hard, but it was something that we needed to do in order to accelerate our debt payoff.
Right.
So,
wow, that's amazing, and that's what we share a lot with our listeners is it's one part cutting back on your expenses, and second part creating more income. And it sounds like you guys were definitely just grinding.
Yes.
That's amazing.
Like we earned, and I shared this before on my IG, we earned in 2018 from our side hustles when we were going ham on this thing, we earned $66,000 from side hustles alone before tax.
Wow.
So when people say, hey, you paid off $224,000 in 2.5 years, Like, yeah, you could cut back, and that's good. That's
Right.
part of the journey, but your earning potential is limitless, right? So when we turned our attention to side hustle, it was like 66,000 in 2018. And I think last year, Faith had given birth to our wonderful son. So she was working less. But even last year, we haven't released these numbers, but last year we earned 35,000. So between the 2 years, over $100,000 from side hustles alone.
Wow.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
Which is crazy when we think.
Oh my goodness.
Crazy. Tithe off of it, and then the rest went straight towards that.
Wow, that's beautiful, man. Now, the thing that I love about you all's journey, and I don't know if this was strategic, but Leo, you guys were sharing the journey as you were going. You know, like what made you do that? What sparked that in you? Because I know with us, we were kind of it's funny, we joke about this a lot. Me and Shira had no idea there were so many other couples that look like us doing this.
Yeah.
When we were doing it, we were just had our head down, and then when we were done, we were like, hey, we should like start a YouTube or do, you know.
We thought we were going to be the first.
We was like, we're going to be the first one to do this. Like, But I think it's amazing because we started when we were finished with the journey. Yeah. But we got to see you all's journey. So what sparked that in you all to chronicle this entire journey?
You know,
yeah, I do. So I think we were just kind of posting about it, right? But I think the thing that really made us do it is for accountability. So we put this out there like, y'all, we have all this debt. This is what we're doing. But like, we couldn't just back off of it because
once we put it out there,
it was it. So I think like the biggest thing was like accountability. And then once we started posting about it, we realized that, man, people are like inspired by this. People are on the same journey. People want to do the same thing. And so we ended up having more accountability. Like we held them accountable. They held us accountable. So I think that's pretty much why we did it.
Yeah, and it was motivation for us too. It's like, man, let's see how much we can pay off as we progress, like as we get into a rhythm. Let's see how much we can pay off. And then it just started becoming fun. Like, let's share our journey so other people know that they're not alone, that it's possible. The biggest thing is that it's possible. A lot of people think that it's not possible. Like they look at a mountain of debt and they're wondering, how am I going to attack this? Well, we're here to let you know that it's possible. Don't start with the numbers, start with your why. Yeah, and when you have that, like you'll have all the motivation that you need in order to, you know, implement the steps that you need to get out of debt. But yeah, we started for accountability, and it just became fun to share what we learned along the journey, and just to see the folks who have been impacted by us just being obedient to the process has been like amazing. To see people like get hope when you could give somebody hope, like that's a powerful thing. Somebody who thinks like, man, there's just no way, and then they look at a posting like, man, I could do this too. Like you just changed the whole family right there.
Right.
Whole family tree. So yeah, that's how we started.
Right. I think that's the beauty of social media too, because for a lot of people in their immediate circle is not folks that they can look up to,
Right.
you know, or maybe they're not doing much, you know, so it's great, you know, that we have this connection through various platforms that we can see people who are successful. We can look up to those people if we don't have that in our family or in our circle of friends.
What's going on, everybody? This episode of the podcast is brought to you by the Black Married and Debt-Free Masterclass, Get Out of Debt and Start Building Wealth, featured on Udemy.com. In this masterclass, you will learn our 5-step strategy to accelerate your path to financial freedom. We also break down the key to building wealth. You will learn the strategies that Shira and I use to go from 6-figure debt to a 6-figure net worth. This masterclass includes almost an hour and a half of on-demand video, 2 downloadable resources, full-time access on any device. So do yourself a favor and go to udemy.com/course/get-out-of-debt or click the link in the description. Now back to the show.
I see your shirt. It says Got Debt.
Yes.
So can you tell us a little bit about your book, Got Debt?
Yeah, so I published a book earlier this year in April called Got Debt, The 7 Bulletproof Steps to Debt Freedom. And the inspiration behind it was once we posted after our 1-year anniversary, we had paid off $100,000 $104,000 in 12 months, and people started asking us how we did it. And we found ourselves, right? And we found ourselves answering the same question over and over. And then we went on podcasts, we went on various platforms. And one thing that we realized is that, man, there's so much more that we wanted to share that we weren't able to share because the time was limited. You're on somebody else's time. You know, you can have all these big ideas of what you want to say, but not be able to say it. And so we were like, okay, let's just put this in a book where we can give folks a step-by-step guide on how to accomplish, you know, paying off debt. So, and that's what we did in the book. So we give them the 7 strategies that we use, practical strategies that anyone earning any income can implement. And yeah, it's a go-to book for getting out of debt. So definitely recommend that folks check that out because it has been transforming lives, and we're just super excited that we can be a conduit of that process.
That's awesome. And so if someone's listening and they want to get your book, where would they purchase it?
They can find it on Amazon. So it's available on Amazon, paperback and Kindle. And it's also available on our website, Freedom is a Choice, M as in Mary, B, Victor, T as in Tom, .com. So freedomisachoicemovement.com.
freedomisachoicemovement.com.
Right, MCT.com.
That's great. That's great. Now, I also, made mention earlier that you all were on the Steve Harvey Show. What was that like, and how did that come about? And what was Steve like?
So I think someone reached out to us on Instagram. Someone from their production team reached out to us, so that's how we got on the show. And I think we were carpooling on the way back to work, and we were having a conversation with, I guess, somebody on their production team, and then trying to figure out, can we get on the show? And we were in the midst of working, so we're like, we probably can't make it out to Cali. Is there a video option?
Right.
And then, so we got off the phone and we looked at each other. We're like, are we really gonna let an opportunity like this pass us by and not go out to LA? When is this ever going to happen again? So we called her back up. We're like, actually, we would love to be on the show. When can we go? And so we asked our jobs after we had already told Steve Harvey that we'd be going over there. And luckily, they ended our respective jobs ended up giving us the day off to do that. So we were super excited about that. But you can talk about us actually going there, or even your dad thinking it was a scam.
Yeah. So my dad's a police officer, and he is skeptical of every single thing. So I told him about it, and I was expecting him to be like, yeah, that's awesome, Faith, really good job. He was like, that's not right. People don't just reach out to you, Faith. People, Steve Harvey doesn't just reach out to you, Faith, to be on the show. Right. He's like, that's not right. So he got a lawyer. To look at the contract to make sure it was legit. And I was like, Dad, you might be right, and if you are right, I'm covered by the blood of Jesus. I'm protected, so I'm still gonna pursue it.
Right.
And pursued it, and it ended up being legit.
Right. So just imagine what I had to go through to ask him for her hand in marriage.
Right.
Oh my goodness.
Right.
The experience was great. It was my first time in California. I think you've been there already, but my first time in California, we had a great time being on the show. Steve was cool. I mean, the way that it happens on TV is not the way that it really is in real life.
Right.
There 3 segments back to back to back. But I mean, the whole experience being able to be, with their stylists and getting styled by them, and Faith getting, her makeup
and
done,
the hair and the clothes and the shoes.
It was cool. It went by a lot faster than we had expected.
Yeah.
And we had the wonderful opportunity of meeting Dr. Richardson, which was his financial expert, and we've been able to keep in contact with her, and she's actually one of our mentors. It was a great experience. We turned it into a mini vacation.
Yeah.
Out there, but Steve was cool, real laid back. He was cool.
That's great. And we noticed that you all also have since then started your Debt Slayers Academy, or Debt Slayers is camp, right?
Boot camp.
Boot camp. There we go. So can you tell our listeners a little bit about that, and if they want us to join the boot camp, how they can go about doing that?
Yeah, so the Debt Slayers Boot Camp is a 4-week intensive program where we teach our proven system for getting out of debt. So it's a group coaching format. So we have 4 weeks of topics and lessons that we go over, weekly financial challenges that we have. So we have people practically implement steps during the week. We give them homework to do. But yeah, at the end of it, they have a step-by-step guide on how to carry this thing out and, be confident about the entire process. So anything you want to add?
Yeah, and I think also one good thing about the boot camp is that it is a group setting. And so we have like a group chat where everyone can hold each other accountable. Yeah. We have challenges throughout the week. And then we're active in it too. So people can always come to us and ask us questions throughout it. So yeah, a lot of people have been really successful from the boot camp. We've had lots of follow-ups.
Yeah. So we've had we hosted 3 boot camps last year, and we've had 3-month follow-ups with, the first 2 groups. Yeah. The first group paid off $67,000 of debt in 3 months. And the second group paid off $44,000 of debt in 3 months. So people are really like starting to, turn their lives around, and we've been super excited just to see the progress that they've made in this short time. But yeah, if anyone is serious about getting out of debt and just needs some guidance, we're available. So unlike, some other programs where it's just a course that you watch and then that's it, like we're available for Q&As, like the entire process, email access, group chat, like we're in the group chat, like participating in the financial challenges. So yeah, it's like a really, really good program for folks who are just starting out, don't know what to do and how to navigate this long journey for many. Long journey. So we just give them the tools that they need so that they can be confident.
So definitely check that out for anyone listening. We really appreciate you all being on. Now, you mentioned some different ways that people can get in contact with you, but can you give everyone your social media, just ways that they can see what's going on with Leo and Faith?
Yeah. So, my Instagram is faith.jeanlouis, which is JeanLouis. Go ahead.
And then mine is leo.jeanlouis on Instagram, and on Twitter it's leo_Jean-Louis. You can reach us also via email, freedomisachoice@gmail.com, and also on our website, freedomisachoice.mvt.com. And applications for the bootcamp are opening up at the end of the month for anybody who's ready to get started. At the end of the month, we'll be opening up applications, and you'll see that on our Instagram.
Awesome.
That's lovely. So I have one more question.
Come on.
Okay, you paid off this debt. You have your book, you're promoting it. You have your boot camp, you're promoting it. You're helping other people. And what else is next for you all?
Living life deeply is our motto for this coming year. So we, of course, worked really hard, paid off all this debt. So I'm cutting my working down. Like I'm going to work my 1 job, 5 days, but not 3 jobs. We have opened up the budget some. We hired a cleaning service to come get my nails done.
So actually yesterday I was off for the first time in a while, and we were out and about because our home was being cleaned. So that's one area that we've opened up in our budget to have a cleaning service. And
but even though we've opened up our budget, the key is that we're still budgeting. This isn't just you can spend and do whatever you want. No, we're still hardcore budgeting. We're still staying on it. And then when we're also investing now.
Yes.
So we have maxed out our 401ks. We opened up a Georgia 529 plan for our baby, which for college.
Yeah. So that's our plan for this year, is to maximize everything. So like a lot of people, we feel like we've been behind when it comes to investing. So our goal this year is really to put as much as we can towards our investment. So maxing out 401ks, we opened up the 529 as a Christmas gift to our son. this past Christmas. But yeah, we want to maximize everything so we can give our money a chance to grow, like for the long term. So yeah, that's really where we're at now, is just enjoying the fruit of our labor, and
enjoying each other too.
Yeah, enjoying each other.
We've been working so much. Yeah. I can't wait to have Leo off on a Saturday where we can hang out outside.
Right, in a building. That's real. Yeah. So yeah, we're enjoying the fruit of our labor, man. It's been good. It's only the beginning for us, so we haven't like really gotten into it. Like we're still adjusting, still trying to find our rhythm. But I mean, it feels good. Like the tangible weight that has come off of our shoulders, like since becoming debt free, is like the stress that we no longer have, the burden that we know, like life. It just feels different.
Yes.
You're right. Totally understand. You, like you said, you all deserve a little break, after all the hustling that you have done. So congratulations. We're super excited just to watch the journey, just to be a fly on the wall. So thank you for being on the podcast, and thank you for sharing your story with the world.
Of course. Awesome. Thanks for having us.
Thank you guys, and thank you for the work that you're doing. Like, I follow you guys, and you guys have been an inspiration to us, so keep up the good work.
And we appreciate it. All right. Thank you guys for checking out this episode, and we'll holler at you guys later. Peace.
Perfect. Yo, so we hope you guys enjoyed that podcast episode. We hope that we said something that you can take away and apply. We are here to inform and to inspire. So do us a huge favor, and don't forget to rate this podcast 5 stars on whatever platform you're streaming us. And if you want to become a supporter of the Black Married and Debt Free podcast, you can do so by clicking on the link below. That's it for now. Till next time, holla at you guys later.